have. These two players are going to go to battle here. Sam going to be your higher seed, so he does get to play first. I know that Sam said during the Swiss, these two players did play in the final round. They were battling it out. Sam had lethal on the stack for game 3 and then said, do you want to draw? Jeff said, yeah, I do. So we'll see how it does play out here. Sam is going to begin the game with an isolated chapel, Jeff with a steam fence, and we are underway here in the finals for you guys. Or excuse me, for the quarterfinals.
Sam getting on the table first with a second turn Cartel Aristocrat.
And Jeff gonna play a Rootbound Crag, see if he has a Searing Spear, maybe a Mizamortar. You do see a Searing Spear right now, so you do want to kind of contain that thing before another guy does come into play. But no Searing Spear right now. Sam's gonna draw a card. Falconmouth Aristocrat is his draw. There's her Clifftop Retreat, and here comes Cartel. Searing Spear says that things need to go away. Let's see what kind of follow-up Sam has today. There's a Skirt Stag High Priest, pass the turn back. Jeff gonna take a draw step. It is a Steam Vent. You see a Huntmaster of the Fells, I think twice, a Dissipate in his hand right now. Yeva over there as well.
Yep.
Pretty good hand right now. He's gonna take 2. Push himself down to 18. Let's be able to represent Dissipate here.
The Steam Vent on tap and pass is a bit suspicious.
Are you saying it? Sam gonna come across here. You saw Sam check the lands there, 2 Steam Vents and the Rootbound Crag, so it doesn't have to worry about Wolf or Avenger. As he does come across confidently there with the High Priest and is going to cast a Cartel Aristocrat post-combat, basically daring Jeff to counter this. I think you do have to trade 1 for 1 there.
Well, we've gone this far. Once that lands on tap, you're pretty much committed to dissipating whatever gets cast.
Yeah. Jeff is going to come here with a Huntmaster of the Fells, so 2 life and a Wolf token there for Mr. Hoogland. Going to push himself up to 19. And Sam is going to untap. He's going to draw. Let's see if he has a 4th land for that Falconmouth Aristocrat. Does not look like he does. You see a Blood Artist and a Tragic Slip in his hand, but problem here is you only see 1 black mana, and he does just pass the turn back. So a little bit of trouble here for Mr. Black. As Jeff does draw a Stomping Ground. You see another Huntmaster of the Fells over there. Stomping Ground coming to play untapped.
It has to be somewhat attractive here to just say go and try to shoot down the Blood Artist. And you still have Yeva to play at the end of Sam's turn, so it's not like the turn's burned off.
If he can do something to the effect now of play, think twice, flash it back, flip the Huntmaster back, that's certainly an option. So there goes your Skirt Stag High Priest. That's going to bite the dust. There will be a small drain and gain there from the Blood Artist, so Sam's going to draw a card. It is a Lingering Souls. He also does have a Tragic Slip in his hand right now as well, so if he wants to pull the trigger and kill that Ravager of the Fells, he can do that. Doesn't seem like the greatest of plays this turn, though.
Yeah, it's his whole turn right now, so it's pretty rough.
But that's what Sam's going to do. He says, I need to get that thing off of the table before it just starts going out of control. So here's a Think Twice here from Jeff. That's going to net a Breeding Pool. Ravager of the Fells is going to bite the dust. Now, Wolf or Avenger here from Jeff. He's going to untap. He's going to draw. Sam with no good blocks available. So here comes the 3/3 Wolf and the 2/2 Wolf.
This is exactly the kind of pacing that Jeff wants in this game.
Yeah.
Is, you know, being able to pretty efficiently deal with Sam's turns and also proactively push forward damage.
This is, yeah, as you said, this is literally exactly where Jeff wants to be with his deck. So Sam's going to take a draw. Lingering Souls, this is going to be his play for the turn. Let's see if this does resolve. A hand of 2 Yevas and a Huntmaster of the Fells. So the green light's on here for Lingering Souls, but those tokens are not going to provide a huge advantage here for Sam. As you're going to see a 4/4 come out of the trees here in Yeva. He's going to be underneath even more trouble now, Patrick.
Yep.
So Jeff draws a card. Rootbound Crag is the draw here. He's going to play that. Here comes Yeva, here comes Wolf or Avenger, here comes a Wolf token. Is it chump blocking time for Sam yet?
Well, the other thing that Jeff sort of has to be keeping in the back of his mind, as does Sam, is the presence of Blasphemous Act. That sculpts a lot of the way that Sam wants to chump block and also dictates a lot of the pressure that Jeff wants to add to the board. Definitely does not want to overextend.
See, Sam is going to do a double block here on the Wolf token, it looks like. Yeah, so he wants to get that thing off of the board. He's going to end up taking 5 damage total there. Or, excuse me, 4, because of the draining and gaining from Blood Artist. So let's see what Sam follows up with. There's a Lingering Souls being flashed back. 2 more Spirit Tokens, and still not a 4th land here for Sam. So
although his hand's just Aristocrat, so it's not even clear how helpful the 4th land would really be. Even if he drew it early in this game, he would still be on the defensive.
We'll see a Huntmaster of the Fells here on Jeff's end step, thanks to the Yeva. Lets him play green instance. No attack here with the Huntmaster of the Fells, and he's going to reconsider his attack, actually. As you guys do see Yeva on the screen, the card that did allow that Huntmaster of the Fells on Sam's end stack.
Again, if you're Jeff here, you have to be pretty happy to be trading the Huntmaster with tokens again because of Blasphemous Act. So if he's doing this, it's only because he feels like he's going to pass this turn and generate pretty close to a lethal attack, and flipping the Huntmaster is going to be capable of finishing it off.
Sam throws the Spirit Token over there. He says, all right.
This is going to knock Sam to 2. He'll gain 1 from the Blood Arts and go to 3 and be able to survive the Huntmaster flip.
Huntmaster's going to flip. Yeah, and Sam is going to concede here, knowing that even if I were able to Blasphemous Act this turn, the problem is that he can regenerate Wolfer Avenger, and I'm still basically in the same pickle. You also did have a backup Yeva as well. So Jeff Hoogland is going to be up a game here against Sam Black with Rug Flash, as we're going to cut back to the booth here because it is trivia time for you guys. Again, most of you probably played at home, but if we do have any new viewers, of course we do appreciate it. Very simply, we're going to ask you guys a question, and you will hashtag the answer on Twitter with SCG Premium. This particular trivia question will give away 3 months of premium. Again, we will pick from the people who do get it correct and give it away after the end of this round. So it is about accuracy, not speed.
Yeah, one of the correct answers. It's not the first one to post. It's,
correct.
We draw randomly out of all the correct answers.
That's
anyhow, the question is, if any of you have been paying attention to the coverage this weekend, you know that Grand Prix Miami, Star City's running it, and we made our big announcement. Part of that announcement was that we rolled out a whole new set of tokens of some of your favorite writers and personalities that Star City Games has. Amongst them, the gentleman to my left, Cedric Phillips. He has a token. Name the creature type of the token that Cedric is. Cedric is associated with this creature type primarily through his legacy play, I would say. So for 3 months of premium, hashtag that answer to SCG Premium, and we'll draw 1 person at random for 3 free months.
All right, there we go. So we'll come back to the match here, take a look at the sideboards for you guys. Mr. Black, you see 3 copies of Zealous Conscripts, you see 3 Electrickeries, 3 Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, 2 Obsidian Ghost Council, Sever the Bloodline, 2 Duress, and Intangible Virtue. Clearly no cards here that are saying, hey, I'm here to beat Rug Flash, but some things that can probably help improve his deck a little bit.
I like an Obsidian a lot against the Rug Flash deck. I don't think he has a ton of awesome ways to answer it. He has counters, but those are a little suspicious against Sam to begin with. And once it's in play, it's basically just better than every other creature in Jeff's deck by a considerable margin. So I would definitely want to bring in a couple copies of that. I also think Sever the Bloodline can be quite powerful as well.
Definitely a card that Obsidian, I don't think that Jeff can ever let resolve because he has to go through so much work to actually get it off the table. Sam can actually do something effective, just stand tall and not even blink it out and just go, hey, 5/5. Yep. Like he has Mortars and Spears, and he has to use 2 of those cards, or 1 of those cards in combination with Snapcaster Mage to be able to get off the table. That's a lot of work for him, and it takes up his entire turn in most cases as well. So, taking a look at Jeff's sideboard, you do see the 4 clones, 2 Izzet Static Casters, 2 Curse of Echoes, a Ground Seal, 2 Counterflux, 2 Electrickery, and Pillar of Flame. Electrickery, very, very good card against the Aristocrats. Same can be said about Izzet Static Caster.
Yes. Izzet Static Caster basically custom made in large part to fight Lingering Souls. Also does work against the plethora of 1 toughness creatures in Sam's deck, among them Doom Traveler and Falkenrath Aristocrat. So definitely a good one to have here.
Electrickery, it's interesting. You know, this card varies from very good to like borderline irrelevant depending on what Sam's game state looks like. You know, if he's on a Cartel Aristocrat Boros Reckoner draw, then Electrickery, blank magic card. If he's on a Lingering Souls draw with maybe a little bit of Blood Artist action, some Doom Traveler, maybe as you said, a Falkenrath Aristocrat looks a little bit better. So we'll see how Sam's draw does shape up. That's part of the power of the Aristocrats, is that it can kind of do these different things based on how it does draw over the course of the game, where, you know, maybe against Iron Blitz, Electrickery is always going to be good. Depending on how Sam's draw goes, Electrickery can be great to borderline unplayable.
Yeah, and that's one of the main strengths that Aristocrats has as an archetype. There's not a lot of aces in terms of sideboard cards to bring in against it. There are cards that are situationally powerful, but not across the board good. And the pingers are definitely one of those types of cards.
Yeah.
Are they good some of the time? Absolutely. Are they good all the time? No.
I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me to see Sam just take the Lingering Souls out of his deck.
Yep.
And just make it so those cards aren't good. You know, boarding a card like Zealous Conscripts, maybe, probably not Sorin, but Obsidat, maybe Sever the Bloodline. Duress is certainly possible here. He also does have an Intangible Virtue, only one, where we've seen other copies of the Aristocrats play 3 to 4 of those in their sideboard to one up a Curse of Deathhold or is a Static Caster type effect. So, a lot of options here for Sam. Sam is going to start off here with a Sacred Foundry untapped, go to 18, and play a Doom Traveler.
And we see that Jeff does have a Static Caster in hand.
So it's just a stomping ground there for Jeff. Sam is going to play a Cartel, or excuse me, going to play an Isolated Chapel. I'm assuming a Cartel Aristocrat. And it's just going to be a Skirt Deck High Priest. Okay. So good start there for Sam.
Yep.
Here's a Rootbound Crag, and no blue mana.
Vulcan Wrath Aristocrat off the top.
There's your Cartel Aristocrats. Now he can start pumping out 5/5s, and Jeff needs a spear, and he has one. Oh, so there comes Doom Traveler. Sam have a third land? Oh, nope. Boy.
Slides back. A Hinterland Harbor, which is an awesome draw here.
Yeah. And passes the turn back. Sam gonna draw a card now. Sacred Foundry. Alright, back in it. Does have a Duress there too. See how Sam wants to navigate this turn. Does he want to play his land first in the Reckoner? Maybe into a counter spell here? Does he want to attack first? Maybe try to draw something out? And he's going to start with Sacred Foundry. Here comes Boros Reckoner. You see a Syncopate over there in Jeff's hand. Probably worth it.
Yeah, I think this play is pretty reasonable from Sam because there's a reasonable chance that Syncopate isn't even in Jeff's deck anymore. Being on the draw and Sam, you know, having some pretty low-end draws.
So Syncopate takes care of the Boros Reckoner. Sam comes across with the Cartel Aristocrat and the Doom Traveler. Deal Jeff a little bit more damage. Jeff, no fourth land. Sam, Sacred Foundry off the top. Pretty good draw. Here's a Duress. Sam wants to get some information. And that hand is going to be a Wolfer Avenger, a Huntmaster of the Fells. 2 Wolfer Avengers, actually. And is a Static Caster.
A Mizium Mortars and a Dissipate.
Yeah. Patrick can see right through glare.
I already knew that those cards were in their hand, so. Otherwise, no, I would be. Okay, there we go.
So what to take here with the rest?
I would assume we're taking Mizium Mortars because we don't have double blue, and even if we do draw a land, it's probably better for Jeff to just cast his Huntmaster in lieu of living up Dissipate mana. So.
Dissipate shelf life going down very quickly here.
Mortars would be the card for me, I think.
You see Sam's hand of Sacred Foundry, Falcon with Aristocrat. I think the last card there, Patrick, is a Zealous Conscripts, I believe. So I'm a little bit surprised to see him lead out with Duress. In fear of maybe another Syncopate. You take a look at the counter magic over there in Jeff's deck.
3 copies, and he already showed 1, so.
Is it Charm's not going to get the job done? Dissipate can't take care of the Aristocrat. So I was a little bit surprised to see Duress's turn instead of slamming down that 4th land and jamming a Falkwrath Aristocrat down Jeff's throat. But Sam wanted to play a little bit more cautious. You see him really analyzing how this game is going to go. You know, how effective is Mizium Mortars going to be moving forward versus that Dissipate, where Sam's probably going, if he does draw a blue source, it's super annoying for me.
I still feel like you have to take Mortars because... Oh, okay.
I'm going to take Dissipate.
I defer to Sam's judgment in such matters.
Alright, so here's your Wolfer Avenger. Sam's going to sacrifice that token right away. Make it so that his guy gets pro-green, so there will be no blocks. And there's the Sacred Foundry and pass the turn back. So Sam getting very, very aggressive here. Like Trickery of the draw here for Jeff.
Pretty good. He might be able to combo that with his Static Caster take down the Aristocrat.
And for 3 we go. Sam went down to 13. Jeff does just pass the turn back to no land, so Sam knows for the most part the green light is on. So he draws another Duress, and he's going to play a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. looks to be good to go.
And this is the reason I would have taken the mortars, is because a reasonable plan here from Sam is to actually just, even when you're aware of Staticaster, is to just be able to get a token on your aristocrat and get it out of Staticaster range.
Sure.
But now every spot removal spell requires regeneration, and so many of his one-time creatures are offline now because of the Staticaster. So.
And so here is your Izzet Staticaster. He can make that aristocrat into a 5/2 with the Cartel aristocrat, but I don't think he wants to lose the Cartel aristocrat. You see him going to shoot this now. So, all right. So he's going to sacrifice this to make his guy 5/2. Okay. So he's going to get him for 6 in the air. Going to push Jeff down to 7. And Sam has a couple, he's defending himself okay, as Jeff's going to draw a card here. It is another Dissipate, is that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah. Jeff, because he's so bottlenecked on mana, he can go Mortars your Aristocrat, which he's going to do. So Sam says, I'm going to sack this, and Jeff says, all right, I'm going to shoot this and Trickery in response. Yeah.
And yeah, this is why I was not thrilled with Sam taking the Dissipate here.
So Sam draws a card. Orzhov Charm. Alright, so he's going to take care of Wolf Avenger. Take 3 to do it, go down to 10. Sam's just going to pass the turn back now. Jeff passes again, unable to find a land. Doom Traveler draw for Sam. Looks like he's going to lead out on Duress. He is. Copy of Think Twice over there, too.
So Think Twice and Dissipate.
To go along with that Hunt Master of the Fells and the Wolf Avenger. So both players currently at 7. Yeah, both players at 7 right now.
I think it's... again, I just don't think taking Dissipate means too much here. I guess the game's not going to go on long enough.
Alright, so there's your Avenger. Sam electing not to play a Doom Traveler in his hand as well.
Oh, I mean, it just gets mowed down by the
yeah, my fault. Yeah, I apologize. Draw a card. Cartel Aristocrat. So I'm going to play that. And if that card, which I'm pretty sure is Zealous Conscripts in his hand. Alright, so here's a Doom Traveler.
That's
So
going to
syncopate that, okay. Surprised him, use a counterspell on that. He's got it handled so well. Yep.
Yeah, it's a little rough to use it on a non-lethal attack, I feel like.
So now here's the Hunt Master of the Fells. Finally to the 4th land. Here's a Hunt Master of the Fells for Jeff. Gonna move up to 9. Wolf Token and play to gum everything up. Really gonna blow Sam's plan of playing a Cartel Aristocrat. You see Tragic slips of the draw, and that's it. So Jeff Hoogland is going to win this match 2-0 over Sam Black playing the Aristocrats. Rug Flash moving on to tomorrow morning.
Very impressive showing by Jeff. Obviously kind of a bit of a homebrew, and he's been obviously working on it and advocating it. So nice to see him move on to the semifinals.
We'll see if we can get any other match results coming in here as time goes by, as we do have some players left here in the room. We also do have those 3 months premium to give away as well. So as we have some updates for you guys, we will bring them over to you. But Jeff Hoogland has eliminated Sam Black 2-0. Rug Flash, a deck Jeff wrote about on Star City on the select side.
And I'm trying.